I'd like to welcome everybody to our council meeting. It's Tuesday, September the 5th at 7 p.m. and we're at the Adelaide Metcalfe Township office. We have all councillors in attendance tonight except for Mike Brody. He has a prior commitment. I'd like to call this meeting to order at, what time have we got here? 7:01 p.m. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or in general nature thereof? You've had time to read the minutes of the previous meeting that was on August the 9th. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, could I have a motion that the minutes of the Adelaide Metcalfe Council held on August the 9th, 2023 be adopted as printed? Moved by Councillor Nordoff, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor, and that's carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Kelly Drain 2023 consideration of drainage works. And we have a recommendation that the drainage consideration meeting to review the engineer's report for the Kelly Drain 2023 be opened at 7:02 p.m. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. So Andrew, I'll turn the meeting over to you now. Andrew Neely is our drainage inspector. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. This project is under Section 78 of the Drainage Act. It was a project that was a request that was received by a member of the watershed within the watershed boundaries. To go into some of the more of the details, I will pass it off to Mike DeVos, the engineer who wrote the report.
You just have to hit your microphone there.
Okay, you can hear me okay? Yes, good evening. As mentioned, this report was prepared in accordance with Section 78, which is repair and improvement to the existing Kelly Drain. It is an existing open channel. It was last reconstructed in 1970s. Since that time, there has been maintenance probably done on it in certain situations, but since that time, there has been culverts and some erosion happening, and there's been a request to replace a culvert and also make the upper portion of the channel deeper, and those things cannot be done through maintenance. So that requires a new engineer's report. So it is working on the existing drain, but it is providing improvement at the same time. We did have an on-site meeting with the affected landowners early on in the process. There was some discussion of possibly doing things differently in the upper reaches where the reconstruction is occurring. And after discussions with all the parties, it was decided just to repair and improve the ditch as is instead of trying to relocate or change the type of construction. So it is all ditch work that's being done. The upper portion is shallower with deeper tiles. So there's a little bit of deepening from the 1974 grade in the upper portions. But by the time we get downstream to the lower portions of the DeGroot property, we are back on to the original design grade. So the clean out and reconstruction that has to happen will be within the existing channel. There was a request to replace the road culvert. It was in poor condition. It was found to be in poor condition and undersized by today's design standards. So the road has requested that be replaced and lengthened somewhat. There is an existing culvert, not a huge distance upstream of that, that is installed privately and is above the original design grade. So it is holding more sediment back than what it should be from the design grade. And the culvert up in the DeGroot property, due to condition more than anything and length, the top width for the traveled machinery is wider and landowners like it wider. So it was requested to replace that culvert as well. We are including erosion control measures. Some of it is at MacArthur Road, some of it is upstream, both from surface water entering the ditch from field level, as well as water flowing within the channel, mostly on bends or up against the road, should be have erosion control measures installed to protect the banks in those particular locations. There would be some brushing and clearing, more maintenance type stuff from growth within the channel, and seeding of the ditch banks where the reconstruction is occurring, and some of the buffer strips. The conservation authorities require us to have a grass buffer a little bit of a distance back from the channel so the landowners don't farm too close to it. And at that point, I would stop and open up to questions.
Andrew, do you have any questions?
At this time, no, I don't have any questions.
Okay, is there anyone in the gallery that has any questions? Yes, okay. Okay, is it relating to this specific drain? Yes, okay. Do you want to, this could, maybe just you could share Mike's microphone, just pull forward maybe? And yeah, yeah. You got the experts here tonight, so they're the right people to ask. Just touch the bottom button there, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Robert Boarding-Young. I live at 4703 Walker's Drive. I'm one of the landowners at the Kelly Drain that passes through. It's kind of interesting because up until about a month and a half ago, I didn't even know anything was occurring on the property. I was never given any formal letters or any of that nature until somebody, I think it was Mr. Kelly, came up on my driveway with a piece of paper saying this was occurring, and I have no idea. This is the first time I've ever heard anything like that. I took it to my lawyer because I had a whole bunch of questions. And
I can just interrupt you. This is regarding the Kelly drain that
Yes.
passes your property.
it passes straight through my property.
Okay, thank you.
This is the first I've, and within the last couple of weeks, I got something saying Township of Kelly Drain, Township of Adelaide Metcalfe, and the report basically where this gentleman has prepared for you guys here. I have some concerns on the report because it's confusing to me at best. I've worked in the engineering field for over 40 years, building military equipment for the Canadian military, US military, New Zealand military, militaries around the world, Saudi Arabian militaries. So I'm very familiar with engineering drawings and basically information. And as I said, one of my concerns is there was a 1974 report that was initially made the Kelly Drain up, which is kind of interesting. Because when the property was sold to me, I was told there's a creek in behind my property, but that's okay, that's fine. But I have not seen what that report entitles in terms of this document, in terms of the history. I realize there's a small little information bulletin, but does that report have a one-time buy? What was the historical significance of it? Did it actually have a river that was converted into a drain? I don't know what that is. I'd like to have that report so I can assess it. So that's one of the many questions I have. The existing ditches, according to, sorry, I'm a little nervous because I'm
not a drainage expert either. I'll let you.
I'm not a drainage expert either, but I'm a physicist, and everything for me has to be calculable. So, and it says here existing drain conditions on this report, and it says that the existing ditches have silted and no longer providing sufficient outlets to the upper portions of the watershed. I know everything can be calculated, and I don't know what the environmental impact or any field report that was done on that particular part of the drain has any calculation been done? What's the water outlet calculation during this last rainstorm that we had had significant amount of water flowing and coming down? I have pictures of the actual culvert in operation, and it didn't overflow the road. It was actually working perfectly. Yes, there are restrictions probably in the culvert. It was probably keeping the water level down and not overflowing the road. I don't know if that's ever been in your calculation. That, you know, a restriction may be necessary to have a flood occurring further away from the area rather than flowing across the road and washing it out like it happened here at your house or your house, which is the counselor's house, Betty Ann. So I'm asking for that. I'd like to have that information or at least be privy to that information. Like I said, I'm not, only reason why I'm asking that information because during the last rainstorm, the water from the ditch in front of my house, which drains into Kelly's drains, overflowed into my house and damaged some of my property, which is a lot of property. It was very, very significant to myself. And we've never had water come up to the house that is significantly up to the property and into that property. I know Coulter, thank you so much. He's going to come over and take a look at it tomorrow. On Thursday. He wished I called earlier, but I didn't know who to call to. And this is about this drain, so I thought I would bring it up here. I'm just saying if this drain itself was modified a couple of years back, and since then we've been having flooding. So if that can't be done correctly, how can I expect the big one at the back be done correctly? And I don't know. And this is why I'm asking questions.
Okay. I'm not going to guess whether we're at a 100-year event or any of that sort of stuff. So Mike, I'll maybe turn it over to you. And if you can address some of Robert's concerns.
Sure. I'm still have there's a lot more questions.
It might be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if we could do them a little bit at a time because. Okay, there we go. Yes, there are design standards that are provided to the engineers who prepare these reports under the Drainage Act. Typically, rural ditches are designed to about a 1 and 2 year rain event, and farm culverts would be similar. Road culverts are designed at a larger rain event, typically 1 in 10 or larger if the road is built up higher where the water can't go over the road, then designs will be larger than that. If it's a major arterial road, it would have a larger design, but they are calculated. In this case, there were no concerns raised with the capacity of the channel itself, but we did look at the culverts. We had to calculate the flows within the drain so that we could size the pipes. The culverts they function differently than a ditch, but so the calculations are somewhat different, but we use the flow for that 1 and 2 year rain event to size the pipe. And that's, in this case, that was the pipe that's being suggested for the DeGroot property. We did go through the exercise of designing and pricing a replacement for your property, but it was not included we didn't get attendance from your property at the meetings. I had the municipality trying to get a hold of you, and he dropped something off, and it was decided that we wouldn't spend the money to replace it. I think he talked to you about that, and that the culvert could be removed and not replaced as part of the project. If you wish it to be replaced, it could be done. It would be a partial shared cost. The Drainage Act is a user pay system. Adjacent landowners pay a certain proportion, and then the upstream people that are upstream of that, whose water goes through either the ditch or the pipe, pays a certain portion as well. So in this particular case, we are suggesting to remove the culvert and not replace it. There was a little bit of engineering work that was done through that process to get to that point. What's that?
I'd like to know what that engineering work is, because I don't.
That
I
engineer.
don't trust it, basically. I don't trust the system right now.
Okay, the engineering work is when we design culverts, we have to take the tributary area at a specific location, because as the water goes down through the drain,
I
the
understand.
tributary watershed gets larger and there's more water entering the drain. So we can't look at it as an average. We can't look at it at the top. We have to look at the specific locations. So there was a specific location where your culvert was, so we have to do the calculations. The rainfall intensity, which is when we say about a 1 and 2, we talk about how often these rain events will return. that's what we say a 1 in 2 year rain event or a 1 in 10 year rain event. Mother Nature has been not so kind lately. And is a 1 in 2 year rain event a 1 year 2 rain event nowadays? It might be, it's changing. The Ministry of Transportation is going through the process of updating their information, but we have not been not been told to update anything from the Ministry of Ag and Food yet. That might come down the pipeline in the future if things keep changing.
So can I just interrupt? Is this a road culvert or a farm culvert?
It is a farm culvert.
Okay, thank
There is
you.
a culvert. It's approximately maybe close to 200 meters upstream of the road. Is that-
There is a road culvert system.
Yes.
Okay,
There's two, and I'm not talking about the farm culvert.
Oh, you're talking about the road culvert.
I'm talking about the road culvert. And I'm saying the farm culvert may be actually protecting the road culvert. I don't know what the calculations are. He said there was a calculations there. And yes, I do agree that storms are getting more intense due to environmental. So how can we know that whatever we do here is going to be okay 10 years down the road? Or we're coming back next year or 2 years down the road, so we have to change the culverts again. I don't know. I don't have the calculations. They're not part of this report. I like that part of this report. So I can actually review it, or anybody can review it. And in terms of township, you have.
Yeah, I can suggest where you can find the information, and that is put out by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food. They have the documents that we use to go through that process.
But I don't know what your I can come up with the calculation, but I don't know what your calculation is to verify it.
So you would like a copy of our
Yeah,
calculations?
yeah,
Okay, I'm just trying to understand what you
Yes, I
want.
would.
Yeah, I can provide that
Yeah,
you
if
can undertake to provide that? Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
I can. It does. I guess we'll have to get to the end of the meeting and find out what the next steps are. If the concerns are such that, you know, at this meeting is typically the.
Well, this is for the
consideration where
drain,
you
not for
decide to
the-
move.
yeah.
You know,
This is where-
we do hold public meetings. We did have an on-site meeting. We had a preliminary meeting, which the properties were invited to. Unfortunately, it's being said that he didn't get the
I didn't
invitation.
get any-
So
I'm sorry, but I
we,
didn't get any.
the municipality did their best to track the landowner down. But we're here now and we have to try and do what we can to satisfy the landowners. I realize that.
I mean, I was told this is going through no matter what. Like, I don't even understand what the guy was talking about. I was a little shocked. A couple months back. When this actually came to my driveway as I was putting it gravel to my driveway. Ready to get it. Sorry, but
okay, so does that address the questions that the first bulk of questions? Does that address those? So we move into the next section that you have?
that's probably question.
And these are once again related to this drain specifically, not to
Yes.
any road culverts. Okay.
Not to the road color,
Okay.
the same. Like I said, the first question was the initial drain that was done.
In 74.
In 1974, I don't know what that is. Then, of course, this problem. You mentioned erosion. But yet on your land survey. And I understand there's erosion. I totally get it. Let's pull this up, right? Let's try to pull it up on a map. And you're driving on the road. You start here, it's a drain on Scottsmere Drive, and it does a hard bend here, other hard bend, snakes across the property, does 2 S bends and then continues on there. It doesn't show the areas that have been eroded or where the erosion is actually taking place. And I'd like to know that because when I did a land survey on my property, there was very little erosion on the banks, but yet there was erosion on the 2 S bends as it goes under the road. And I have pictures of that erosion showing during the rainstorm and after the rainstorm. And again, that erosion that you mentioned of, is that on the municipality, on the township Adelaide Metcalfe, or is that erosion on my property that has to be in terms of costing?
Okay.
And that's what I don't understand that.
Mike, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to ask this or not, but it sounds like there's a lot of questions here. Would it be better off to defer this? And to address all of these questions? Because it sounds like Robert, didn't receive notice, wants the information to get him from 1974 to now to sort of ascertain how you arrived at your decision. That's just a
Yes,
thought.
that might be advisable. I know council has time constraint. And if that's what council's, decision is to do, I'm, that would be helpful to the landowner for sure. I don't know if it sounds like there's information that is requested that cannot be provided immediately tonight. So that
Yes.
would need some time to be provided. So deferral makes sense in that regard.
Okay, Andrew, is there any time sensitivity to this?
I guess typically when consideration meeting is deferred, it's referred back to the engineer. I guess we have to decide the information that Robert is asking for. Is it grounds for referring back to the engineer, or is there another process that we can follow? And I don't know of any, unless Mike has an answer for that.
I have seen councils adjourn the meeting and reconvene at a later date with notification to the landowners. It's not necessarily spelled out in black and white in the act, but it's something that councils have done, which allows for the situation that we're in.
So Andrew, would it be reasonable to bring this back at the planning meeting, the next meeting on the 18th or 19th, whatever date, the 18th?
That's certainly possible, provided that there's enough time that we have.
You have to give notice, correct, to
Yes.
landowners?
Yes.
You have to be. So then I guess my question is, if this got bumped to October's meeting, is that a problem?
I think that would probably be preferred in order for the information to be sent out, and also
Okay.
for us to have adequate time for the notification to be sent out as well.
Okay, as long as you can meet that deadline. I'm only one voice, but I would like all property owners to be comfortable with decisions that are made and be part of that process, or at least be given the opportunity to participate in that. So,
Thank
yeah, I guess what I'm asking is for a motion to adjourn this item and bring it back at a later date. Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Nordoff. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So that'll give everybody a time so that everyone's comfortable with what's going on. You may not agree, but at least I want a full understanding, and you may agree. Don't know, based on whatever information you're given. It's just you'll have the full picture at that point.
Did you want a copy or my questions given to the engineer?
You can give
That
those
way.
to Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be
That's okay.
fair here.
Yeah, actually, this Mike will take them and then he'll give,
Some of them
he's
are
the
handwritten.
controller of the paper.
Some of them are handwritten, some of them are typed out. So.
But that's okay. If he is your phone number on there that he can reach
No,
out
wait,
to?
No. If you
Mike,
want,
can you put his phone number on there in case there's some clarification that
Yeah,
you
no.
require? I hope this meets with your expectations, Robert.
Well, thank you very much for understanding. And thank you so much for listening. That's great.
So then I guess we have a recommendation at 7:24 to close the drainage consideration meeting. Could I have a mover in a second, or moved by Councillor Kingma, seconded by Councillor McKinnon? And there's no decisions arising out of that. Okay, Andrew, while you're on the call, if you'd like to jump ahead and do your staff report under 7A, the Lewis drain, the construction of a new branch. We'd like you to step up and you can get that over with, and then you're able to leave the meeting. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. This is a petition under Section 4 of the Drainage Act that the municipality has received. And it is petitioning for a new branch of the Lewis drain. So just a little bit of background. In recent years, many farm property owners have expanded private drainage to improve crop production. This is typically done by hiring a tile contractor to install more main and lateral tiles in the farm fields, and these outlet into natural water courses, or these can be rivers and streams, municipal drains that are ditches, and pipe drains. However, in some cases, such as we have in front of us here, there are situations where property owners have natural water courses that they've been using as their outlet, but it is no longer deep enough for what they need. So since June of this year, the owner of the property that is in the map on Newell Road that I have received, or the municipality has received, at the west part of lot 25, concession 2 in the former Adelaide Township, has he and I, we've been discussing options in which direction to go, and it was decided that they wanted to submit a petition under the Drainage Act, and that is where the staff recommend that council accept the petition to construct a new branch for the Lewis Drain, submitted by the property owner located at the west part of lot 25, concession 2 of the former Township of Adelaide, and that council direct staff to procure a drainage engineer in accordance with township procurement policy.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Are there any questions for Andrew on this Lewis Drain? If not, we have the recommendation before us that council accept the petition to construct a new branch for the Lewis Drain submitted by the property owner located on the west part of lot 25, concession 2 in the former Township of Adelaide under section 4 of the Drainage Act, and further that council direct staff to procure a drainage engineer in accordance with the township's procurement policy. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Nordoff, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Thanks for attending tonight, Andrew, and we'll revisit the other drain, now the Kelly Drain, probably not the next meeting, but the one after that. Hopefully all questions can be answered for the landowners. Thanks for attending. You're welcome to leave should you wish to.
Thank you.
Okay, up next under 6A, we have correspondence, upcoming conferences, seminars, and meetings. We tentatively have an Adelaide Metcalfe special meeting on Friday, September the 3rd. We're not sure if we're going to need that or not yet. We have our next council meeting focusing on planning on September the 18th at 7 p.m. And then the next one after that is the Adelaide Metcalfe meeting of council on Monday, October the 1st at 7. There's recommended reading CC1, the Middlesex London Health Unit, Board of Health meeting summary from July. Number CC2, St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, their meeting highlights from June 22nd. CC3, Middlesex County, the county highlights. And CC number 4, the Blue Water Recycling Association, Board of Directors meeting highlights from August 17th. Under action required, CC number 5, we have a resolution from the City of Hamilton regarding the Greenbelt amendments. Councillor Kingma?
I'm in support of this. I think municipal input on development proposals in areas removed from the Greenbelt are very important.
Okay, is there I'll take that as a motion. Do we have a seconder for that? Moved by Councillor Nordoff. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. CC number 6, a resolution from the municipality of Chatham, Kent regarding infrastructure funding program. CC number 7, a resolution from the Township of Emo regarding the black ash tree endangered species classification. CC 8, a resolution from the Township of Severn regarding climate emergency just transition transfer. CC number 9, the Municipality of Southwest Middlesex, appointment to the Court of Revision for the Moore Goff Drain. We have a recommendation that the council or mayor be appointed to the Municipality of Southwest Middlesex Court of Revision for the Moore Goff Drain to be held on Wednesday, September 27th at 6 p.m. I am available that evening and I don't mind going to that. Okay. Okay. Is there a seconder for that? Moved by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor? And that's carried. And CC number 10, a resolution, the Municipality of Strathroy Caradoc regarding Panel Lane reduction request. We have a request to reduce the speed limit on Panel Lane from the current 50 kilometers an hour to 40. And not sure if there's any questions on that one. I think it's nice to support Strathroy Caradoc and their road safety program. So we have a recommendation that council support and endorse the request from the Municipality of Strathroy Caradoc for a speed reduction from 50 kilometers to 40 kilometers on Panel Lane from Center Road to Drury Lane. Moved by Councillor Nordoff, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor, and that's carried. So I had to file, receive and file CC 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, 8,
Yeah.
sorry, 8, and that's it. Because we have a motion on the others. So a mover and a seconder to file, receive and file those other ones. Moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. Okay, back to staff reports. The next one up is our operating budget to actual for July 2023, and I'll turn it over to our treasurer, Johnny Pereira.
Thank you, Mayor Clerk. Through the council, we have the July 2023 operating budget to actual report. Spending and revenues to date are on pace with budget, but I do just want to highlight one noted issue for the month. And that relates to the farm tax rebate. So this year we did see quite a large number of those come in this year. So we did budget a conservative budget of $90,000. Unfortunately, due to the number of residential properties switching back to the farm class, we are over budget by $50,000. So there's a significant overage for our municipality. The benefit that we have was we used a conservative approach to interest rates this year for our investments. So because interest rates have remained steady and actually increasing this year, we're able to see some additional revenue that we did not budget for. So that will help offset that. We will be doing a overall forecast of our operating for the year just to ensure that we will meet budget. I am confident we will, but I will keep council posted if there's any changes with that. As part of the 2023 budget deliverables, it was noted that we were going to establish a new process to address these farm tax flips. So that was started in February. So Jess did a great job in putting that together. We did send out communication to properties that may be eligible for the farm tax rate. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that taxes are as correct as possible. So if residents are eligible for the tax, reduced taxes, we want to make sure that they're taking advantage of that. But from the rest of the budget actual, everything is on pace. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but the recommendation is to receive the report as presented.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. Are there any questions? Councillor Kingma?
Thank you, Mayor Clark. I was just curious about one minor detail about the tree program. How did it go, and where did you source the trees? Were they from Petrolia?
Thank you, Councillor Kingma. The tree program actually went really well. Lots of feedback really fast. Like last year, I think we closed it within 24 hours or so. I think we had over 110 people submit the form for a maximum of 3 trees each. And yes, we did source them at Petrolia. It was we've had good luck with them, and they gave us a really good price this year. So
Good. Any other questions regarding budget? Seeing none, we have a recommendation that the operating budget to actual report for July 2023 be received for information. Moved by Counselor McKinnon, seconded by Counselor Nordoff. All those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. Next, we have a kennel bylaw, and I'll turn that over to our clerk, Michael Barnier.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. To members of council, this at the July 17th meeting, we passed the animal control bylaw and it indicated that time that it was county legal's recommendation that we pass a separate kennel bylaw. So this is kind of the companion bylaw to that animal control bylaw. So we've always had kennel licensing. It's just modernized, expanded on it, a little more regulations in regard to ensuring the safety and health of the animals in a pound. It also does give a if we don't suspend, revoke, or not issue a license and appeal mechanism to council ultimately to decide some of those. You'll notice that there is not a set fine schedule. As is the same case with the animal control bylaw, it is better taken on a case by case basis. And even in this one, we do have the power to revoke or suspend in that period. So that would be a pretty great penalty to somebody that's running one of these. So we do have, I think through Johnny, we have full 4 kennels currently paying licensing fees on an annual basis, $150. So they're a bit grandfathered in, as I mentioned in the report. Just out of knowledge for people in the zoning bylaw, dog kennel shall not be erected closer than 150 meters from a dwelling located on a separate lot or 150 meters from an institutional zone. Just for reference on siting of them. It can be difficult to cite them properly, but we now have a process to handle them formally. So the recommendation is just to consider and pass the enacting bylaw. So if there's any questions, be more than happy to answer.
Any questions for Mike? Seeing none, then we have a recommendation that bylaw 48 of 2023, being a bylaw to provide for the licensing and regulation of breeding and boarding kennels within the township of Adelaide Metcalfe, be presented and considered. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Counselor Kingma, seconded by Counselor McKinnon. All those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. Okay, the next thing is the North Frontenac Telephone Company, Telecommunications Company, Adelaide Metcalfe Blanket Municipal Access Agreement. And I'll turn it over to our CAO, Morgan Calvert.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to council. Council may remember Grant Ruffley from NFTC coming to a council meeting probably in the last year and a half or so to celebrate the fact that they received funding from the province for a fiber optic internet project that would construct fiber through a significant portion of the township. So of course, that was good news. Staff have been working with Wayne Mahar at the county, out of the county legal office to develop a blanket municipal access agreement. This agreement is being used by a number of municipalities in Middlesex County and being cost shared, which is always a plus, of course. This will allow, this agreement will allow or provide general provisions for NFTC to access our permitting process that Coulter manages to construct large sections of fiber cable in the road right of way. Of course, they're subject to Coulter's permit review and issuance process, which has administrative fee. We also recover a security deposit based on the project. And I think there's a 20% loading factor within the agreement to help recover costs for these larger projects. We're going to see large permits come in. Wayne Mahar wrote a fairly comprehensive report that council has seen on the agenda that outlines a number of the things that were identified in the agreement. This agreement is a form of CRTC created or developed agreement that was developed through significant community consultation from service providers across Canada to municipalities, provinces, consumers and other stakeholders. So it's a pretty good agreement. It covers a lot of the typical challenges that municipalities and internet service providers face. I did get notification from Mr. Ruffley this evening just before council that they have signed the agreement as well. Typically, I like to put a signed version of the agreement on the council agenda for council's review. And really, I'm happy to take any council questions at this time if there are any.
Any questions? I know some people had questions ahead of time and they were answered via email. Any further questions for clarification? Seeing none, then we have a recommendation that council for the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe approve and endorse the attached North Frontenac Telecommunication Company Adelaide Metcalfe Blanket MAA. A mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. Okay, anything under other business? Councillor Kingma?
Thank you, Mayor Clark. I was just curious, do we have subscribers to our bi-monthly newsletter?
Through the mayor to Councillor Kingma. Yes, we have about 20. We've been pushing on social media a little bit, the budget survey, but I want to get that out till we have a substantial number. I am hoping to have one out by the end of the month and starting out there. So we just have to build it. But even when we push it out, we will advertise for people to sign up and push it out again. But we'll slowly build a base, and you can use those lists, and people can opt out anytime of those, but you can use those lists for other communications moving forward as well, not just the newsletter. Thank you.
Okay, anything else under other business? Our fire chief's not here tonight, but I'd just like to thank the fire team for putting on the fish fry. There was about 450 people, and we had so many positive comments about the park and how that it was just such a nice place for the community to get together. And it's very much needed from a socialization standpoint. I know we're out of COVID, but we're not so far out that we don't appreciate the interaction and the community get together that it was. So I'd like to thank Dan and his crew. They did a remarkable job. They always do. And their spouses stepped up and pitched in as they always do as well. So I know I appreciate it, and it was very well attended. Yeah, and then the other thing, I know we passed it tonight, but the on Panel Lane, and it's a border street between Adelaide Metcalfe and Strathroy Caradoc. And we were only too happy as a council to support that. I noticed tonight going from a 50 to a 40. And I think that's just an example. It's such a simple thing, a small thing, but it's an example of how easy it is to work together to get something done. And I look forward to having other opportunities like that within the district to move the area forward. Okay, seeing nothing else, we have a recommendation that bylaw 48 of 2023, the kennel bylaw 49 of 2023, North Frontenac Agreement, and bylaw 50 of 2023, confirming September 5th, 2023, receive first, second, third, and final readings. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Nordoff, seconded by Councillor Kingma. All those in favor? And that's carried. And could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:44 p.m. Moved by Councillor Kingma, seconded by Councillor McKinnon. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much.